Still waiting for your imaginary groom, Riley? Or are we all in on the joke now? Claire's remark cut through the string quartet and made the nearest table go quiet. Faces tipped toward me, curious, eager. He's on his way from work, I said, steady as I could manage. He texted. Mum's laugh sharp and practiced made the roses seem colder. The ballroom smelled like flowers and money. Crystal vases. A wall of white roses. A live sax player doing soft versions of pop songs. My sister, Claire, glowed under a chandelier in a dress that probably had its own Instagram. People kept hugging her like a prize they'd all won together. I arrived with a simple gift to champagne flutes wrapped in tissue and the kind of smile you wear when you know you're on trial. I hadn't brought my fiancé yet. I could feel the eyes before I saw the faces. Riley, my mother kissed the air near my cheek. You look nice. Where's he? On his way, I said. Aunt Linda slid in fast, perfume first. On his way, she repeated to the circle around her. That must be a very long way. Laughter, light and sharp. Cousin Brooke tilted her head. So, he's the tech guy, the pilot, the surgeon. I can't keep track. More laughter. Someone whispered Rentadate, like it was a clever spell. He's real, I said. Calm, flat, he texted running late. Dad appeared at my shoulder like a warning. Let's not make tonight about you, he murmured, the way people warn dogs not to jump on guests. Please don't create a scene. I'm not, I said. I'm holding a gift. Across the room, Claire spotted me and lit up with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. She glided over, ring first, fiancé, in two even teeth, and tucks, and a handshake that tried too hard. Riley. Claire sang. We were starting to think your mystery man is a myth. Not a myth, I said. Show us a picture then, Brooke pushed, already angling her phone toward mine. I could have shown plenty's face under a headset, greasy pizza at 2 a.m. A snapshot of hands, our hands, overlapping on a paper map. Instead, I opened his text. Ethan, shift ran long, 10 minutes. Don't let them eat you, I smiled, small and private. He said 10, Aunt Linda smirked. 10, what, years? Evan chuckled for the group. No pressure. We're just excited to meet the legend. A server passed with tiny crab cakes. I took one, and didn't taste it. The sax player slid into another song. The room swelled with happy noise, the kind that erases inconvenient people. Brooke leaned closer. If he doesn't show, we'll still love you, she said, sweet as a dare. Just, don't lie, it's tacky. I put the gift on the table, scented the ribbon, and took the end seat at a cocktail table near the terrace doors. I like edges. Edges mean exits. My phone buzzed. Ethan, 2 minutes. Look up before we continue. Please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments about which country you're watching this video from. Enjoy the story. 2 minutes. Look up. I lifted my eyes to the ballroom's glass doors. Beyond the terrace, the lake was a slick mirror. The sax player slid into another song. Aunt Linda was mid-whisper when the first low thump rolled across the water. Not music. Air. The chandelier trembled a fraction. Champagne flutes rang like tiny bells. Conversations snagged and pulled. Heads turned toward the terrace. What is that? Brooke said, already angling her phone for content. My mother's smile pinned tighter. Riley, please tell me you didn't. I didn't, I said. He did his job, and then he came. My phone buzzed again. Ethan cleared with the GM, helipad by the lake. Stay inside until rotors stop. Event staff appeared like a tide clipboards, dark suits, radios at their shoulders. The manager, a woman, with a neat bun and a watch that looked like it kept secrets, spoke into her mic. Confirmed landing on pad A, guests remain indoors, doors closed. Dad turned to me. You will not upstage this. I'm not, I said. I'm sitting at my table. Claire reached us, ring first Evan, in her wake. What did you do? She hissed. Smile glued on for the room. This is my night. He's late, because someone needed him, I said. He's coming, because he said he would. The thumping grew steady now, close. Lights skirted the ceiling like water. On the lake, a shape lowered, sleek and dark, the rotors combing the surface into ripples. People drifted to the glass and pressed their fingers to it, like kids at an aquarium. The helicopter settled onto the white H at the far edge of the lawn. Rotorwash bent the roses toward the ground and sent napkins skating across the terrace. The sax player stopped. Even the ice in the buckets seemed to listen. Aunt Linda's laugh died in her throat. Evan tried a joke that didn't land. Guess he's punctual. Security held the terrace doors shut with palms flat. The manager's radio crackled. Spinning down, the blades slowed, from blur to lines to still. A figure stepped out in a dark flight suit with reflective tape at the cuffs, helmet under one arm, a small squared-off duffel in the other. Ethan walked like a man who knew where his feet were. He nodded to the ground crew, spoke to the manager, then started toward the building. Wind still shook the roses at his back. Someone whispered, "Life flight," like it was a prayer. My phone buzzed. Ethan, don't move. I'll come to you. Dad's jaw worked. Claire's smile thinned to a thread. Brooke lifted her phone higher. The room gathered itself, a held breath. The doors opened on a slide of cool night air. The manager stepped in first, then Ethan, visor clipped to his hip, hair flattened in a way I have kissed 100 times. The party's noise collapsed into a soft, shocked hush. He looked like the opposite of pretend. Grease stain at one cuff. A thin scar along the knuckle he broke last winter on a stubborn latch. The kind of tired that only comes from doing something that matters. His eyes found mine in one clean line. He smiled, not big, not for them, just real. "Riley," he said, voice low and warm in the quiet. "Sorry I'm late." He crossed the room like he belonged in it, nodded to the manager, and stopped in front of me. Up close, he smelled like cold air and jet fuel and peppermint gum. "Sorry, I'm late," he said again, softer now. "You made it," I said. "Ethan," my mother cut in, voice bright enough to sting. "We've heard so much. Good to finally say hello, Mrs. Hart," he answered, easy. He shook my dad's hand, firm. "No show, sir." Dad's eyes flicked to the flight suit. "No tux. Came from work," Ethan said. "Didn't want to change while somebody needed us." He lifted the duffel a little. "Shoes, jacket. I can clean up." Aunt Linda stepped forward like a mic. "Work," she repeated, tasting the word. "And what is that, exactly?" "Renting helicopters for dramatic entrances." "Air medical," he said. "Life flight. We moved a cardiac patient." "Stable now?" Her mouth opened, then closed. The sax player found a nervous note and held it. The manager with the neat bun approached, respectful. "Captain Moore, thank you for calling ahead. Landing fees comped. Your donation to the children's wing was generous." Ethan nodded. "Appreciate you clearing the pad." I didn't know about the donation. I filed it away in the drawer where I keep reasons. Claire arrived with Evan fixed to her elbow, smile perfect, eyes sharp. "So," she said to Ethan, "you do exist." "I do," he said, unbothered. "Congratulations, Claire, Evan." He offered a clean, sincere handshake. "Wish you both an easy forever." Evan squeezed back to hard. "Quite an entrance," he said. "Most people use doors. Pads are faster," Ethan said, polite as a table knife. Brooke slid in with her phone angled like a weapon. "Can we get a picture of the happy couple?" she sang. "Riley, show us the ring." Eyes dropped to my hand. "I don't wear it at events like this. Not for them. I wear it on a chain under my dress, close to my skin." I lifted the chain. Let the small gold band catch the chandelier's light. "It's not for content," I said. "It's for me, that looks." Modest Aunt Linda said, as if that were a diagnosis. "It looks like a promise." Ethan said, and the room had to hear it. Dad leaned in, to me, voice low. "Don't turn tonight into a spectacle." "I'm sitting at a table," I said. The spectacle came from the sky. The manager's radio crackled. She stepped aside, listened, then touched Ethan's arm. "Sarita Spatch on 2. Ethan's calm didn't move. He took the phone, listened. "Copy. Weather window closes in 60. Wheels up in 20. I handed the radio back and met my eyes. I can stay 15 minutes. Then I have to go. Go, I said. Do your job. He nodded once. Gratitude, order received. He set the duffel down, pulled out a black jacket and polished shoes, and changed in 2 quick moves that turned the flight suit into evening. He still looked like himself. That mattered more than the tux. Claire's smile wavered. Well, she said too brightly, since everyone's here. Glasses lifted. Evan tapped his fork to a flute. To love, and to family, he began. And 2 real stories, not what? Ethan asked, mild. He wasn't angry, just present. Not myths, Evan finished. Smaller. Ethan lifted nothing, just took my hand, warm and steady. To the people who show up, he said, in whatever they're wearing. A dozen looks fell to our joined hands like they'd never seen fingers fit. The terrace doors breathed a cool draft. Somewhere beyond the glass, rotors ticked as they settled to rest. The manager's radio crackled against a minute's end. I felt the clock turn in the room. Claire watched the way our hands stayed. The way my shoulders dropped the weight they'd been holding since the parking lot. She took a breath, like she was about to try something new, or double down on something old. Riley, she said sweetly, will you join me for a sister photo? Just us. I stood. Ethan's thumb brushed my wrist once. Like a promise hand, I followed Claire toward the terrace doors that led to the edge of whatever came next. Claire steered me toward the terrace, smile fixed, fingers too tight on my wrist. Just us, she said through her teeth. No helicopters in the background. Please. Claire, I said. He called ahead. He did it right. He stole my moment, she whispered. Don't make tonight about you. I'm not, I said. I showed up. He showed up. The photographer lined us against the rose wall. Chins down, eyes here. The air smelled like lake and candles. Inside, I could still feel the room pulsing around Ethan. Curious. Judging, filming. Riley, Claire said, softer now. If this is serious, good. If it's for attention, it isn't, I said. You'll see. Glass clinked. The door behind us opened. Dad's voice floated out, low and warning. Aunt Linda laughed a little too loud. Somewhere near the bar, Evan's laugh answered hers. Echo without echo. The photographer lifted his camera and a server slipped on a dropped lemon rind. A tray tilted, flutes shattered like ice. The sound snapped heads around. At the table behind us. Uncle Pete 60, ruddy, loud since 7 p.m. pressed a hand to his chest, eyes going wide. He sat hard, then slid. The chair screeched. His head hit the stone with a sound nobody wants to hear. Time skidded. Someone screamed. Someone yelled. Call 911. The sax stopped mid. The lake kept breathing like it didn't learn our rules. I moved first. Clear space, I said, pushing chairs back with my hips, tossing a tablecloth over glittering glass. Stop filming, I added, sharp enough that 2 phones actually lowered. Pete. Claire knelt, dress pulling, shaking his shoulder. Uncle Pete. Hey. He wasn't answering, lips gray. Hands slack. I looked through the glass. Ethan was already moving. He'd seen it through the door. He reached for the duffel without looking away from us, spoke to the manager with one quick hand signal, and came fast long strides, all purpose. The manager barked into her radio, Pataprep. 911 online. Clear the terrace. Ethan slid to the stone, knees down, voice steady. I'm Ethan, I'm here to help. Riley, put your jacket under his head. You, he pointed at a frozen groomsman, run to the lobby and bring the AED on the wall. Now, the groomsman ran. Sir Ethan said to Pete, to calm, to be scared. He checked the airway, the pulse, no pulse. He set his jaw. Compressions, he said, already stacking his hands center chest. He locked his elbows and pushed. Strong, even counting low. 1, 2, 3, 4. Somebody, Aunt Linda's voice broke. Do something. He is, I said. The AED arrived, shaking in 2 hands. Ethan tore it open, ripped the pads, set them where they needed to go. Don't touch him, he warned. The machine spoke in its flat voice, analyzing. People held breath like it was a superstition. Shock advised. The AED said. Clear, Ethan said, and he pressed the button. Pete's body jerked like a bad dream. The machine resumed. Ethan went right back to compressions, sweat already along his hairline, counting like a metronome that knows what music is for. Sirens far off. Rotors, ticking awake by the lake. The white roses leaned toward the ground. After another cycle, the AED spoke again. No shock, advised. Ethan checked. Come on, Pete, he said, voice lower now, like he was negotiating with the door. Come back. Pete coughed. The sound tripped the whole terrace. Claire made a noise I've never heard from her, relief ripping through her throat. Aunt Linda sobbed once and clapped a hand over her mouth. Dad went white in a way that made him look, for a second, not like an order, but like a person. Pete's chest rose, slow, weak, but moving. Good, Ethan said, more to himself than to us. He stabilized Pete's head, spoke to him, to the AED, to the manager, to the radio they pushed into his palm. Lifelight, 1 lifting in 5. Copy. Yes, adult male, post-shock, regained pulse, weak resp. He looked at me. For half a second, the whole room fell off his face and only I was there. I have to take him, he said. I know, I said. He squeezed my fingers, quick sensory, like a knot. Then he was moving against coordinating hands, clearing a path. Counting transfer beats with the paramedics as they burst through the doors. Claire stood, dressed dirty at the hem, hands trembling. She didn't look at her ring. She looked at her uncle. The stretcher rolled. The rotors spun. The terrace wind lifted napkins and fear and something heavier between my family and me. Ethan jogged with the crew, already back in headset, visor down. He didn't wave. He didn't look for applause. He looked at the patient. The helicopter lifted, light spilling off the lake like coins nobody could spend. The party stood under the chandelier listening to the sky. Dad's hand found the back of a chair. Because gravity had suddenly increased. Aunt Linda wiped her face and didn't hide it. The sax player lowered his instrument and didn't try to fill the silence. Claire turned to me. Her mouth opened, then closed. When she spoke, it wasn't to scold. How, she asked, voice raw, do you stand next to that and still breathe? I count with him, I said. Then I let him go. The night held. The rotors faded. The terrace waited for the next beat, inside. Somebody reset a glass on a table with shaking hands. We all stood very still. Like the room had finally found the truth and was afraid to scare it away.